Welcome to our deep dive into Project Mercury. You're here because you want to find out about those iconic astronauts, the Mercury 7, and we've got some fascinating material to work with.
Yes, indeed.
Did you know, for instance, that the term astronaut actually predates NASA?
I did not.
It does.
Fascinating.
Yeah, or that the height limit for astronauts was dictated by the size of the spacecraft.
Oh, that makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah, it does. We'll uncover those intriguing details and much more.
It's crucial to remember the historical context. I think
Yeah.
the selection criteria for the Mercury 7 weren't arbitrary at all.
Right.
They were very much shaped by the Cold War rivalry
Yeah.
and America's urgent need to catch up with the Soviets.
Absolutely. And I think the launch of Sputnik in 1957 must have sent absolute shockwaves through America.
Oh, without a doubt.
Imagine suddenly realizing you're no longer the undisputed technological leader.
Absolutely. Sputnik triggered a national anxiety, a fear of falling behind. The
Yeah.
response was the rapid formation of NASA and the ambitious goal of putting a man in space, preferably before the Soviets.
And that ambition took shape as Project Mercury. And it's interesting that it started with military interest, but then shifted to a predominantly civilian endeavor.
Well, that shift is significant. The military saw space initially as a potential battleground.
I see.
But Project Mercury, with its focus on scientific exploration, aimed to demonstrate American technological progress
Right.
and inspire the world.
So they needed the right men for the job, and the selection criteria were remarkably stringent.
Indeed. Think test pilots under 40 with a minimum of 1,500 flight hours. This wasn't just about flying skills.
No.
It was about handling pressure, making split-second decisions, and pushing the limits of human endurance.
And then there's that infamous height limit under 5'11",
Yeah.
all because of the crammed Mercury capsule.
Precisely. It's a reminder of the technological constraints of the time. Imagine being an exceptional pilot exceeding all other criteria,
Right.
only to be excluded because you're a couple of inches too tall.
I can't imagine the frustration. But those who did make the cut then faced a battery of grueling physical and psychological tests. Ice water submersion, castor oil doses, enemas.
Goodness me.
It sounds positively medieval.
Well, these tests were designed to simulate the extreme conditions of spaceflight. The ice water assessed tolerance to extreme cold. The castor oil simulated disorientation.
Wow.
And the enemas, well, let's just say they wanted to ensure bodily functions wouldn't be a problem during the missions.
Intriguing, if a little disconcerting.
Yes.
It does highlight the extraordinary lengths these individuals were willing to go to for the chance to journey into space.
And remarkably, only one candidate was eliminated on medical grounds, and later it was discovered to be a misdiagnosis.
What a cruel twist of fate. To go through all that only to be sidelined by a medical error. But in the end, they chose 7, the iconic Mercury 7.
Each man possessed a unique set of skills and personality traits, but they shared a common thread, an unwavering commitment to the mission, and an unyielding determination to succeed. We have Alan Shepard, the first American in space, and a future moonwalker, John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth, and remarkably returned to space at the age of 77.
That's an astonishing testament to his enduring passion for exploration. And then there's Gus Grissom, a brilliant pilot whose life was tragically cut short in the Apollo 1 fire. A poignant reminder of the inherent risks these pioneers faced.
A somber note, but one that underscores the courage required to push the boundaries of human exploration. There's also Wally Schirra, the only astronaut to fly Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo missions. Gordon Cooper, who set the record for the longest American spaceflight during Mercury skill. Scott Carpenter, the second American to orbit the Earth, and Deke Slayton, who despite a heart condition that initially grounded him, eventually flew on the Apollo-Soyuz test project.
It's quite a roster of remarkable individuals, all driven by a desire to push the limits of human achievement. It's important to acknowledge, however, that the selection process reflected the social limitations of the time. All 7 were white men, a product of the era's prevailing social norms.
You're right. It's a stark reminder of how far we've come in terms of diversity and inclusion in the space program. But despite those limitations, their individual stories, their backgrounds, and their motivations remain fascinating. They were a product of their time, yet they transcended it, becoming symbols of American ambition and ingenuity.
It's easy to focus on the daring flights, but something that truly captures my attention is that the Mercury 7 weren't just test subjects. They actively participated in the design and development of the spacecraft.
Absolutely. Their test pilot experience proved invaluable. They provided crucial feedback on cockpit layout, life support systems, and even lobbied for greater manual control of the capsule.
So they weren't content to be passive passengers.
No.
They wanted to be active pilots, shaping the technology that would carry them into the unknown.
Indeed, their input contributed to the safety and effectiveness of the Mercury missions and shaped the design philosophy of future spacecraft. It's a testament to their technical expertise and their commitment to pushing the boundaries of human spaceflight.
Now let's delve into their first foray into space. It all began with Alan Shepard's suborbital flight aboard Freedom 7 on the 5th of May, 1961.
Yes.
A mere 15 minutes in space.
Goodness.
But what a monumental achievement for America.
It was a symbolic victory in the space race. The primary objective was to test the Mercury spacecraft's launch and recovery systems and to evaluate Shepard's physiological responses to spaceflight. Although he didn't achieve orbit, his successful flight proved that humans could withstand the rigors of launch weightlessness and re-entry.
A crucial first step. And Shepard handled it with remarkable composure, even when faced with some technical glitches.
Indeed. He wasn't able to manually control the capsule as he'd hoped, but his calm demeanor and precise reporting provided valuable data for future missions. His flight demonstrated the feasibility of human spaceflight and provided a much-needed boost to American morale.
Then just a few months later, on the 21st of July, 1961, Gus Grissom became the second American in space with his suborbital flight aboard Liberty Bell 7. This was another test flight, but with some important distinctions.
This time, Grissom was given more manual control of the capsule, and NASA introduced a new explosive hatch for a quicker escape in case of emergencies. The goal was to gather further data on human performance in space and to test the new hatch system.
That hatch would later become a point of contention, wouldn't it?
Tragically, yes. Although Grissom successfully completed his mission, the hatch prematurely blew open after splashdown, causing the caps to sink and nearly costing Grissom his life. There was much debate about whether Grissom had accidentally triggered the hatch, but the incident highlighted the inherent risks of spaceflight and the need for rigorous safety procedures.
A very near miss that must have shaken the program to its core, but the drive to push forward prevailed.
It did. And the next major milestone was John Glenn's orbital flight aboard Friendship 7 on the 20th of February, 1962. This was a pivotal moment, the first time an American had orbited the Earth. It truly captured the imagination of the nation and the world.
3 orbits lasting nearly 5 hours, Glenn became an instant hero, a symbol of American ingenuity and courage.
His mission aimed to evaluate an astronaut's ability to function in orbit for an extended period and to test the spacecraft's systems under those conditions. There were some tense moments with concerns about the heat shield and some sensor malfunctions, but Glenn handled it all with remarkable aplomb.
It must have been an incredible experience both for Glenn and for those watching back on Earth.
Indeed. It was a defining moment in the space race, demonstrating that America was capable of matching the Soviets in orbital flight.
And these early missions were essentially test flights, pushing the boundaries of what was possible with each successive launch. It's remarkable to think of the courage and skill required to pilot these experimental craft.
It was a time of rapid technological advancement, and each flight yielded invaluable data that informed the design and development of future missions. It was a period of intense learning and adaptation, driven by the ambition to reach the ultimate goal, landing a man on the moon.
Which brings us to Scott Carpenter's orbital flight aboard Aurora 7 on the 24th of May, 1962. 3 orbits similar to Glenn's flight, but with a greater emphasis on scientific observations.
Precisely. Carpenter conducted experiments with fluid dynamics and weightlessness and attempted to visually identify ground features, which proved more challenging than anticipated. He also faced a few mishaps during re-entry, including a fuel shortage and overshooting the landing zone, which created some anxiety back at Mission Control.
It just goes to show that even with meticulous planning, spaceflight is fraught with unforeseen challenges.
Indeed. It's a constant reminder that venturing into the unknown, pushing the boundaries of human exploration, requires not only technical expertise, but also adaptability, resilience, and a fair bit of luck.
Absolutely. And then, on the 3rd of October, 1962, Wally Schirra took to space aboard Sigma 7, completing 6 orbits around the Earth. This was a crucial mission in terms of proving the endurance of both the astronaut and the spacecraft.
Schirra's flight focused primarily on engineering tests, evaluating the spacecraft's systems over a longer duration. He performed flawlessly, demonstrating that extended spaceflight was well within human capabilities and providing valuable data for future, longer missions.
His humor and lighthearted approach, even in the face of the unknown, made him a popular figure. It must have been reassuring for the public to see an astronaut who didn't take himself too seriously.
It was a reminder that these were not just superhuman test subjects, but individuals with their own personalities, quirks, and coping mechanisms. Shira's humor was a valuable asset helping to alleviate tension and humanize the space program.
And that brings us to the final flight of the Mercury program, piloted by Gordon Cooper aboard Faith 7 on the 15th of May, 1963. A remarkable 22 orbits over 34 hours, shattering all previous records for American spaceflight.
A fitting finale for such an ambitious program, Cooper's mission objectives were extensive, including scientific observations, photography, and further evaluation of the spacecraft systems. It was during this flight that the first live television pictures from space were broadcast showcasing Cooper's every move to a captivated audience back on Earth.
What a spectacle that must have been. And the mission wasn't without its challenges.
Yeah.
A power failure in the final hours forced Cooper to manually control re-entry, relying on his piloting skills and celestial navigation to guide Faith 7 safely back to Earth.
It was a tense moment, but Cooper's calm and collected demeanor, combined with his exceptional piloting skills, saved the day. His successful re-entry demonstrated the importance of manual control systems and underscored the astronauts' exceptional training and adaptability. With that, Project Mercury came to a close, having achieved its goals and paving the way for even more ambitious human spaceflight endeavors.
A remarkable feat of engineering human courage and unwavering determination. From Shepard's tentative steps into space to Cooper's record-breaking orbital flight, the Mercury 7 redefined what was possible and inspired generations to come. But their impact extends far beyond those daring flights. Their fame, their contributions to spacecraft design, and their enduring legacy are all worthy of further exploration.
I think before we delve into the broader impact of the Mercury 7, it's worth reflecting on the sheer audacity of their endeavors.
Yes.
These men strapped themselves atop rockets knowing full well the risks involved.
Yes.
They were pioneers venturing into the unknown with courage and a thirst for discovery.
It is quite hard to grasp the magnitude of their bravery. They were essentially test subjects pushing the limits of human endurance in these experimental spacecraft. And yet they embraced the challenge with a sense of determination and, dare I say it, a touch of swagger.
Well, they were very much products of their time, embodying a certain ideal of American masculinity.
Yes.
Test pilots, war heroes, adventurers, they possessed the right stuff, as Tom Wolfe so aptly put it.
And that right stuff captured the imagination of the public. They became instant celebrities. Their faces plastered on magazine covers, their lives chronicled in minute detail. They were more than astronauts. They were icons, symbols of a nation's aspirations.
It was a time of great national pride and anxiety. The Cold War was at its peak, and the space race had become a proxy conflict between superpowers.
Yes.
The Mercury 7 represented the best of America, its technological prowess, its can-do spirit, its unwavering belief in progress.
And NASA recognized the power of their image. They carefully cultivated the astronauts' public personas, presenting them as wholesome family men, devoted husbands, and patriotic heroes.
It was a brilliant strategy. By humanizing these extraordinary individuals, NASA created a connection with the American public. The astronauts weren't just distant figures, they were relatable role models, inspiring a generation to dream of space travel and scientific exploration.
And it wasn't just a carefully crafted image. These men genuinely believed in the mission. They were driven by a desire to push the boundaries of human knowledge, to explore the unknown, and to contribute to something larger than themselves.
Their motivations were complex.
Yes.
A blend of patriotism, ambition, scientific curiosity, and a thirst for adventure. But there's no denying the impact they had on the American psyche. They provided a sense of hope and optimism during a time of uncertainty and fear.
And I think they paved the way for future generations of astronauts. The Mercury 7 demonstrated that space travel was within human reach, and that with the right combination of skill, determination, and technological innovation, humanity could venture beyond Earth's grasp.
Their legacy is multifaceted.
It is.
They contributed to the advancement of spaceflight technology, inspired countless young people to pursue careers in science and engineering, and helped to shape America's image on the world stage.
We've talked about their flights, their fame, their enduring legacy, but something I find particularly fascinating is their deep understanding of the spacecraft they were piloting. They weren't just along for the ride. They actively shaped the design and development of the Mercury capsule.
That's a crucial aspect of their story that's often overlooked. Their input based on their extensive experience as test pilots was invaluable.
Yes.
They provided critical feedback on cockpit layout, instrument placement, and life support systems. They understood the importance of ergonomics, the need for clear visibility, and the value of intuitive controls.
They were, in many ways, forging a new path, not just for themselves, but for all future astronauts.
Precisely. Their insistence on having a window in the capsule, for example, wasn't just about having a better view. It was about situational awareness, being able to visually track their position and orientation in space. It was a safety feature as much as it was a design element.
And their lobbying for greater manual control was equally significant.
Absolutely. They weren't content to be passive passengers. They wanted the ability to override automated systems if necessary, to take control in emergency situations. They understood that human intuition and experience could sometimes be more reliable than even the most advanced computers.
Do you think their input must have been met with resistance from some engineers who favored automation over human intervention?
Well, there were certainly tensions and disagreements along the way.
Yes.
It was a collaborative process, but also one marked by power dynamics, competing priorities, and the inherent risks of pushing technological boundaries.
It's fascinating to imagine those discussions, those debates between engineers focused on data and systems and test pilots whose instincts were honed through years of experience pushing the limits of flight.
It was a clash of cultures in many ways, but ultimately it was a productive collaboration, one that yielded remarkable results.
Yes.
The Mercury program demonstrated the importance of integrating human experience and intuition into the design of complex systems.
It also highlighted the importance of clear communication and mutual respect between engineers, designers, and the astronauts who would be risking their lives in these experimental spacecraft.
Indeed, the Mercury program was a testament to the power of human ingenuity and collaboration. It was a defining moment in the history of space exploration, laying the foundation for all that followed.
A remarkable feat of engineering human courage and unwavering determination. But their impact extends far beyond those daring flights. Their fame, their contributions to spacecraft design, and their enduring legacy are all worthy of further exploration. Those initial Mercury flights lasting mere minutes or hours, it's quite incredible to think they paved the way for the extended missions we see today.
The technological leaps have been immense.
Oh, absolutely.
But I suppose the core principles remain the human desire to explore the meticulous engineering, the courage to face the unknown.
And the Mercury 7 weren't just pushing boundaries in space, they were redefining what it meant to be a hero in the modern age.
They became symbols of a nation's ambition, embodying the spirit of the American century. But their appeal, I think, transcended national borders. People around the world were captivated by these daring adventurers.
And it's fascinating how their individual personalities resonated with the public. You had Shepard's quiet confidence, Glenn's unwavering patriotism, Grissom's technical brilliance,
Shira's dry humor, Cooper's adventurous spirit, Carpenter's thirst for knowledge, and Slayton's steadfast determination each brought something unique to the team.
And while the selection criteria of the time were undeniably limited, their shared backgrounds, small-town upbringing, strong family ties, a deep sense of duty spoke to a particular moment in American history.
They represented a generation shaped by war and the challenges of the Cold War, a generation that valued service resilience and pushing the limits of human achievement.
It's easy to romanticize those early days of space exploration, but it's important to remember the inherent risks, the technological limitations, the constant pressure they faced.
They were acutely aware of the dangers. Statistically, they knew one of them might not come back.
Goodness.
Their decision to pool their Life magazine earnings for a life insurance policy speaks volumes about the very real threat they faced.
And that underlying tension adds another layer to their story. They weren't just adventurers, they were pioneers, pushing the boundaries of human experience with their lives quite literally on the line.
And their impact extends far beyond their individual achievements.
It does.
The Mercury 7 inspired countless young people to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They ignited a passion for exploration, a belief in the power of human ingenuity.
And their legacy continues to shape the way we view space exploration. They set the standard for astronaut selection training and public image.
The archetype of the astronaut as we know it today is largely based on the model established by the Mercury 7. The combination of technical expertise, physical and mental resilience, and the ability to connect with the public that template has endured.
So what can we learn from the Mercury 7 all these years later? What insights can we glean from their story?
I think their story reminds us of the importance of ambition, courage, and collaboration. It reminds us that great things can be achieved when we push beyond perceived limitations, when we dare to dream big and work together to turn those dreams into reality.
Their journey into the unknown wasn't just about conquering space, it was about expanding the limits of human potential. And that's a legacy that continues to inspire and challenge us to this day.
Indeed. The Mercury 7 story is a testament to the enduring human spirit, our innate curiosity, and our relentless pursuit of exploration and discovery. It's a story that continues to resonate, urging us to reach for the stars and to strive for a future filled with wonder and possibility.
Well, this has been a fascinating exploration into the world of Project Mercury and the Mercury 7. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and that you'll continue to explore the wonders of space exploration.